Right, YouTube, we are back. We're gonna do another raw vlog. It's been a lot of positive feedback around kind of like just uploading a raw vlog. So we're gonna do another one. I'm gonna try to make this one kind of short. I did a Q&A on Instagram and I had about 50 responses. So we don't have time to go through 50 responses at all. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and just bore you with that. So we'll probably do like 10 of them and then we'd like to do like another session. So let's start off with advice on leveling up in your 20s. I think leveling up in your 20s really should consist of staying focused to yourself. If we're speaking to the man population, I think just really locking in, having a lot of isolation, just really focus. Sometimes having a significant other can be very much a distraction. So it's just how can we not be distracted with your significant other, going out, drinking, smoking, having a good time, and not really staying on task. So I feel like being in your 20s is your time to really make mistakes that you can learn from earlier on versus you being 40 or 50, even 35 or 30 with a kid and a wife and this and that, and you're making those same mistakes. I think, when you have that window of opportunity to take chances, you should definitely take those chances because you really never know what can happen if you taking that risk. So I would say definitely take the risk that you can afford and learn from it. And if it pops, it pops. If it doesn't, then to move on to the next thing. That's what I would say. What is your day job? What is your day job like, and how do you manage to create content in between that? So I work 4 days a week, usually about 12 hours a day. So I have 3 days off. So my working day consists of waking up around 5, getting to the workplace around 6, 6:30, whatever. Get off around 5:36, 6:30. Just really depends on how the day goes. Then that's when the fun starts because I've already worked 12 hours, been up for 12 hours. So I come home, ideally make content, edit content, post content, get to the gym. That's about an hour and a half, 2 hours. Turn around, come back home, shower, eat, and basically rest and repeat. I'll do that 4 times a week. Then on my off days, this is why I do like errands. I try to create content more long form content, YouTube videos, day in the life vlog, stuff like that. Go to the gym, grocery store, everything that I can't do with the current schedules at work. So how do I find time in between all of that, making content? I think it's just making time. I know that this is like a huge sacrifice. I'm kind of jumping off the cliff when it comes to like content creating. So for me, it's just really locking in and knowing that like this will pay off for what I want it to pay off for. And also realizing that in due time, like if God wants this to be monetized or if God wants this to be my like full-time job, then it's going to happen. But it's not going to happen unless I put in the work and I lay the foundation. So we're in that grind mode now where it's like put in the effort, put in the time, find the extra time. So whatever extra time I have is built around content. I also still have to fit my daughter in there as well. Of course, daughter takes priority over any content. So when I can see my daughter outside of work schedule, now I make sure I do that. But it's a lot. So on my off days, I try to capitalize on making the content. And then the days I work, I also get content in there as well. I like to batch my content. So I may make a post, but it may be from 6 months prior. Ideally, it doesn't keep you up current, but it helps me as a content creator able to have content be able to push out. The last thing I want to do is have to rush to make content, edit and post, and I'm back at zero. It's kind of like you making $100, but your bill, you have tomorrow's $100, so it puts you back at zero. Like you don't have no savings account. So I look at batching my content like a savings account in the most part. So that's what I do. That's kind of like what my day in life looks like. So a lot of times when people ask me like, hey bro, you want to do this? Hey bro, you want to do that? Really no. And really I don't have no time because I go to work, I exhaust myself, and I have to make content. I have to go to the gym. I have to do this and that. It's just kind of like where's my me time at? So my me time is my me time, like my 3 days off. And after I work and go to the gym, I don't feel like dealing with nobody. And it's not to be rude or disrespectful, but it's just kind of like, where's my time for me in a sense? So, let's see. If you could have any shoe in the world, what would you get? I think I have the shoes. I think I would, if I had to just get one, I would get a shoe by one of my favorite basketball players, one of my favorite athletes, LeBron James. So if you had a shoe that was autographed, I would love to receive that, of course. Chance of that happening is slim, but you just never know. Ideal date. I don't know. I guess I've changed like in my seasons. I've spoke about seasons like on my TikTok live before, but I think now something where it allows me to actually have like an organic conversation, a more fluid conversation, where it's not like staged in a sense. It's not like, oh, like let's go to dinner, let's order appetizers, let's talk and have drinks and I spend $600 and then you rinse and repeat. Like one, that's financially not smart to do that. Two, it just doesn't feel organic. Ideal date for me would be like going to Target and just talking or whatever, and then be like, oh, I gotta do this. You go to IKEA and you're walking, you're talking, you're able to do stuff that engages the other person in conversation, like consistently, and it's super fluid. I think that I like that, and then it's kind of seems like where it goes, where it's like, damn, I'm kind of hungry, and then that person might be like, damn, I'm hungry too. What you want? Like this, like, oh, I know this spot, or you hop on TikTok and you go find a spot and it's just like boom, like organic development. Like I think this is a little more engaging and attractive versus like trying to schedule this and schedule that, because I'm a Leo and I'm very introverted, and I will tell you that I do not like planning stuff really. So if I schedule something 2 weeks from now, for 2 weeks I'm thinking about like, damn, I gotta go to this dinner at 8 o'clock. And like every day. And then I just hope that I'm going to get a text like, oh, sorry, I can't make it because I didn't want to go anyway. And then that's just, because this guy looking out for me. Dream city, country, state to live in. So it's two things. I really like Houston a lot. I like the environment, Houston. I think it's just Alpha Land, really. I think I like what Alpha Land presents and how good I feel when I'm there, when I'm amongst other content creators that kind of have like the same like spectrum, versus kind of like being here in Dallas. I'm just kind of like, eh. So I would say Houston, but I would really say LA, because I feel like LA would be very challenging, so big. The market with everything is just so crazy. There's so much opportunity out there as well. So it's just kind of like, the world is yours. How are you going to get it? So I think that would be challenging and like sense of reward in the same time. On the flip side of that, I would like to move to like Mexico and just be super minimal, like 5, 10 pair of shoes, simple outfits, simple lifestyle, regular car. Every time I go out of the country, I just look at like the people that's there, and it's just, I don't know, it's like a sense of like calm and like peace, and not trying to have a Miri on and this and that, and you know, super luxury apartment. Like you're not trying to do none of that. It's just simple living. So I like the idea of that as well. Most traumatizing experience I've ever had. I think if you've made it this far, or if you haven't, go watch my other video. It gives you an idea, but I had a stroke, so I think that was like the most traumatizing. My favorite season and why. I like cold weather. I'm a bigger guy. I do not like being hot. Like when you're hot, you can't take off enough clothes. Like it's just hot. But cold, you can always put on clothes. So for me, I like being cold. I like the cold weather. Also, me being like a style person, it allows for me to really put it on. Like really drive a sense of fashion and style. Like just, you really see who can dress when it's cold outside. When it's hot outside, you know, like, but when it's cold, you can really see who like can really put it on. So I think I like that. Top 3 shoes right now, I would say my Nike Vomero Gray 5s. I would say my Travis Scott Lows, my Fragments, and then I would probably say these Birkenstocks, these Birkenstock clogs I have on my feet. They're just so simple to wear, just easy to wear. They just kind of go with everything. Really, no matter what like genre we try to go into, like they just fit. Tips for being 18 and under. It's kind of vague, but I will probably cater it towards success in your 20s. I would just take chances, like step off that cliff, like jump. If you have a dream that you want to chase, like chase it. Like if you have something you want to do it. Like you can't worry about like what your mom, your dad, your cousin, your brother, your sister, whomever. Like you can't really worry about that. You just have to chase it, and you just have to like stay 10 toes down. I think if you do that, you can really have anything you want in life. But the moment that you start asking people like, what you think about this or what you think about that, like that negative energy is going to get into your mindset, and it's going to basically derail you from what you're trying to do. So I always say, like, to stay focused. Something you want to do, try it. If you fail, I'm not going to be cliche and say a Aaliyah line, but dust yourself off and try it again. Or try something different. Advice on first time living alone. So two things, or multiple things, however you want to look at it. I say stay within your means. Like if you know you only make $500 a week or whatever, like don't try to max out your budget by being, you know what I'm saying, at let's say 4 times like your salary or whatever. Really just be locked in and just be happy that you can have your own spot. A lot of people don't have the capacity to have their own place and to live alone. So I would say get something within your financial means and just know over time you will level up. Like my first apartment was poo-poo. It was horrible. And just over time, as I made more money, as I got more blessed, as I did this or that, basically my finances changed, my seasons changed, my apartments changed, like everything else. And I've made a horrible financial mistakes. I still make horrible financial decisions. Like it's ridiculous. I think about all the money that I've wasted on stuff or cars, car parts, this and that, trying to flex, like trying to be like that guy that like when you're driving through the city, like, oh, you know who that is, like this Matthias, like dumb decisions. And still to this day, I still make dumb decisions, but I am making better decisions for sure. Like it's just kind of like a daily thing. But that's what I would do. I would just find you something, just know that this is not like the last stop. I think a lot of people want to get the chance to do something, especially if they have the means for, like they go all out. I think that's nice that you can do that, but you don't want to be living paycheck to paycheck. So get you something where you have the capacity to pay for it, but still have money left over, where you can still do stuff and live life. Like you don't want to have like this really nice car and this really nice jewelry and this really nice clothes, this and that, really nice apartment, but you can't go nowhere. Like you don't have a passport. A lot of people out here don't have a passport, like at all, and they not gonna have a passport because they're living paycheck to paycheck. And if they're making $60K a year, they're spending like $90K a year. So you never get a chance to get caught up with anything at all. So I always like live within your means. Tips on posting content, times and days, etc. Just post. When I first started doing content, I was like, yeah, I'm only posting at 5 p.m. because, you know, at 5 p.m. people are getting off work and they're like, blah, 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 this and that. And I'm not going to post at this time. And I'm going to only post this. I'm only like, don't do that. Just post the content. How I see it is just kind of like getting the content out there. Because you may spend 4 hours creating this really good 1 minute or 10-minute video or whatever and get 2 views. Or you can spend a fraction of that time and get 10 views or get the same views. It's just about the volume. Like it doesn't matter if you put out a really good video, but then you don't put another one out for another 3 months or another 2 months. Like that doesn't matter. The thing with content, like Mr. B said, like just post it. I think when you start depending on your views and your likes and you're constantly watching those, I think that just subliminally messes up your mental and like the content, and it's gonna basically make you feel like, dang, if I would have posted at this hour, I would have had more engagement. It's not the case. Like I've posted some stuff at 12 a.m. and it went crazy. I've posted some stuff at 5 p.m., 3 p.m. and it did nothing. and then I post something the next day at the same time, and it did numbers. So when I make my posts, I don't care how many views I get. I don't care how many likes I get. I do respond back to my comments because I think that's important for the supporters that support me. But I try to keep it simple. A lot of people try to overcomplex like content. Like they try to like I said, certain times, like the quality, this and that. Look at Keith Lee. Like he sits in his daughter's chair in an apartment, recording off the front camera of his iPhone, whatever, low quality, but blows up. Then you got someone else like that has like a camera and this and that, blah blah blah, and they got really good quality content, but they're not blowing up. Like they don't have the engagement. Like it's all about consistency and being good. Like it doesn't matter if you're consistent, but your quality, like your content's not good. So just post. Like don't think about it. Like you're wasting time trying to find like the perfect algorithm of perfect this, perfect that. I know when I first started, like I said, like I was very granular with everything I did, and I was like just wasting time. I kept making excuses. And for me, excuses are monuments upon which nothing is built, which sticks in the back of my head. So it's just kind of like just post the content and just let whatever happens, happens. You can't control whether you blow up, whether you have a ton of engagement or anything. So I'm really big on just controlling your controllables and just letting everything else just kind of like happen organically. We have 16 minutes here. Still have a ton of questions left. Let's do one more. How to level up? I think it's like a sum of what I was speaking on earlier in this video. Like it's just staying down, staying consistent. I think creating a routine is key. If you just wake up and you don't know what you're doing, you're gonna fail. That's my personal opinion. And if you go to work, like you know that from this time to this time you're at work. But even when I'm at work, I have to plan my day out. Like I have to make a priority list between like what needs to get done now, what can get done later, what can get pushed off to another day, and basically I have to do that every single day. So having a routine at work allows me to have a routine in my personal life, which means my personal and my business life are both kind of like intertwined to stay on task. I think having a routine, staying motivated, staying consistent, staying humble, are all keys of leveling up. I think also isolation. My biggest red flag is that my love language is quality time, but I also really enjoy my own personal time, and I need isolation to basically recharge like on a mental and emotional level. So I feel like isolation can be good or bad, but if you just stay down, stay in your lane, stay focused, keep grinding, keep taking chances, keep taking risks, isolating yourself, like removing people from your circle that are not really for you, I think that's very key as well. So I think if you do all those in a multiplier, and I think day over day over day, you put these inputs in, your outputs will be astronomical. That's just kind of like what I personally believe. There's some other things in there as well, but I think that's like the gist of it that I would say. So I think we're gonna cut it off there for now. We have a ton of more questions. We'll try to make these videos like a Q&A, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. So like, comment, subscribe. We're gonna keep doing these raw uploads for sure. I really enjoy them. I really like the no edit. It's kind of like a, what's it called? Like a podcast, but it's not a podcast. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe, please. I appreciate everything, everyone, all the supporters that I meet, all the messages, all the positive messages. All that means a lot, and it helps more than you ever know. So we'll see you on the next one.